suicide's a behavior, and behavior is culturally influenced. So how we decrease suicide needs to be specific to the culture we're working within. So what works for decreasing suicide with veterans may be slightly different than what works in the civilian community, or for those who maybe are well outside of a military community, or military families for that matter. We're also in Wyoming, and this is the West, and there is a certain culture out here. They call it the cowboy culture, and that's not, I'm saying that as an outsider, that's not intending to be disrespectful.
No, not at all.
But Idaho, Utah, Montana, Wyoming, they've all got similarly high suicide rates. And so part of our program focuses on how do you take the values of the culture and leverage those to reduce suicide risk. A good example is there's a lot of talk in the suicide prevention community that encourages people to go get help, go seek help. Well, that's not what veterans and first responders and, frankly, cowboys do. They are, however, more likely to help themselves. And so in a location in a community like this, what we are trying to do is teaching them how to help themselves rather than believing that the more we encourage them to seek help, the more they will, because that's a non-starter.
Right.
One other cultural value that both veterans and Wyomingites share is helping your neighbor. Now, for veterans, it's really helping other vets. So if we can get people to help themselves and help each other, we're solving that barrier that people typically won't go seek help. Does that make sense?
It absolutely does. And I think that's something that I'm very focused on within my organization is bringing back helping your neighbor and the concept of service in this country. And it needs to start at a very young age. We need to be doing it nationally on a different level. So I'm very happy to hear that focus here. And I think that you're absolutely right about the culture here in the Midwest. And specifically these states. It's a wonderful example. And spending a few days here, it's so clear how everybody treats each other, how everybody, just walking into a store. I walked into a store and I'm not kidding, 10 people looked at the cashier and said, "Julie, you're here." And she just switched jobs from the grocery store to the dollar store. But it was adorable. Everybody knew her. Everybody was happy for her that she had this job. And so I definitely, those values are there and I understand. But service is very important. Helping one another is very important. And I think that it's something that we need to address societally. And that is the concept that Veterans Talking to Veterans brings is addressing this problem as one of helping each other service and treating it as a community problem, not necessarily in all cases as a mental health issue.